ex-military or veterans should not protect schools. I'm going to go over 3 reasons why I believe this to be the case. Oh man, this is going to be a hot take. You guys are going to get pissed off, but I actually do have some points I've thought out, which please stay to the end. Listen. Now, to preface, obviously everything here is tragic. This is not me trying to oversight that, but this is me breaking down one solution that has been presented, and people should actually analyze the secondary and tertiary effects of what you're going to see. Now, before anyone thinks I'm also anti-pro 2A or whatever else, that's actually not the case. Even with these incidents, I'm still looking to purchase my own firearm just for myself because I'd like to have the protection for my house, my family, things like that, along with cameras and things like that to make sure that my home is safe. And, you know, the world is crazy and I understand that. First things first is not all military are trained to be masters of their weapons. The issue is there's this broad stroke from the movies and mass battles and everything you've seen through the media and everything where it really gives this good heroic portrayal of the military. And there are people that have done some amazing things in the military by being able to carry their rifle into combat and, you know, overcome adversity. Lone Survivor, Active Valor, all these different movies where they're really cinematic and awesome. However, this is where people tend to get disconnected from the military and society as a whole and really kind of separate the military from not part of society. However, this should be noted there are more people serving in non-combat roles. Yes, I said there are more people in non-combat roles. Now, this isn't going to become some kind of recruiting ad, but surprisingly from my research, what I've seen is it looks to be about 10% of the entire military is serving in a combat role. Yes, 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 Marines, I can hear you say, but every Marine is a rifleman. Yes, I understand. I'll give you a pat on the back later. But it should also be known that, yes, Marines are required to do an annual proficiency test to maintain their rifle familiarity. Also, on top of that, it does count towards their promotions in order to advance through the ranks because they do believe in this idea. And obviously, I want to add on to this that this should not say to the rest of the military they're not important because a lot of people don't understand about supplies, food, medical, communications, etc. Hell, you could even look at the baby formula situation recently where the Air Force actually got involved with the transportation to try and make sure people across the country were able to get formula and things like that. And essentially, I would say it just shows that we are multifaceted. Yes, a rifle is essential to the battlefield, but also it is estimated that there are around 19 to 28 million deaths during World War II just due to disease and things like that. So again, I'm trying to portray that the 10% are important, obviously. But on top of that, the 90% are important, and people are going to go, Pogue! All over the freaking comments on this one. But so I wanted to actually analyze the proficiency of a lot of people that are in the military. And so I took a pool of people on my Instagram that actually responded looking at the last time that they fired one of their weapons that they were issued. On top of that, how often, frequency, and things like that. And it looks like someone says here, boot camp 2020, and I haven't shot since, LOL. This former officer, Jake, says, I fired an M9 Beretta at officer training school 6 years ago. That was the one and only time. My current command, I will not touch a weapon or requalify. So what this really looks at is, will this be a state-required proficiency? How often? Where will the money go to pay for these courses? Will the VA be part of this and try and branch people over from military service over there? There's a lot of ways that you could skin this cat. Now, the second thing that I wanted to go over was pay. Yes, pay is a major factor. Yes, it looks good that we're taking care of our vets, and it's not all about the money is what some people will say, but it is some of it. This will increase the percentage of veterans that are going to be hired, but likely will not increase the quality at which they are being hired at. And that is 2 different factors that we should look at. Part of the Bureau of Labor Statistics states that the median annual wage was $31,000. Now, I have to also compare because if someone is going to leave the military, they want to have some comparable finances because that will be important because they don't want to go down in quality of life. Now, if you look at the military pay chart, if you were to get out as an E3 at 4 years, you would make $29,220, and that is before taxes. Yes, maybe they're a hard charger and they got E5. Who knows? That would still then only bump it up to $36,696, only about $5,000 more. Now, I also want to add here that the military side does include healthcare, food allowance, barracks room, also possibly housing allowance if they are a higher rank or married. Now, you have to also remember that the military train these people to do a technical skill, most likely, for these non-combatant jobs, which do hold the majority, which are 90%. So looking at this, it makes me question, why would they not just go law enforcement if they're looking to carry a weapon and do something like that, right? Also, I have to say that, some of these benefits may be there if the schools or state would be looking to hire these security officers, possibly as a state job, and allow them to get those retirement benefits, the healthcare benefits, etc. But I also have to say, we're looking at also having money issues going to teachers, for example, and that's because we're seeing that teachers are being paid, per the Bureau of Labor Statistics, between $40 and $60K per year. Now, my last thing here, and I hated to bring it up, but I have to also annotate the other side of this argument, and that's because I know that for every good idea, there's someone that has a good idea on how to twist this into something bad. But PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, which has been tried to be renamed a million times per former President Bush as well, trying to get rid of disorder as part of that. And I will say I'm also a huge advocate, but I will say we have to switch this perspective to the court of public opinion and how the media would try and paint this as a broad stroke if something were to go bad or if there is a mishap during someone's duties at school. Now, many combat veterans, if that's what we're going to focus on, people that have been looking to, do their role in society and filling a different role, that's awesome. But I know that the stigma that's out there will often relate down to the VA treatment, Veteran Affairs, as far as giving SSRIs, which are a type of antidepressant. And then people are going to be asking, how can we ensure these people are going to be competent and ready to pull with the trigger when they need? And I honestly think that this will give very little wiggle room. And honestly, this contrarian side will just run rampant that our military vets are not suitable for civilian life, and we are going to be more cast into the shadows than ever before. And I say that because there's, obviously good stories, bad stories out there of everything, and people are trying to share their sides. But Lindsay Gunter says, my daughter attends MSA in Palmetto, Florida. This is who stands at our first entry of the school all day. Retired combat veteran, trained to head straight for gunfire, who has survived being shot at in intense situations. You may not like it, but I promise today when I drop her off, a tad bit more reassurance, knowing her completely gated, guarded school was him. We don't need to debate. So with these factors that I've said as to why I think this is more so a good idea fairy than a practical idea, and this is just one case that we've seen where it seems to be working, where this parent feels value from that, what do you think about the application of this across the country? Obviously, this will change wherever you're at, if you're in a more rural or more city-like area and things like that. But I'd love to know your guys' opinions down below. If you guys do have any suggestions for future videos, topics, something I should cover, please list it down in the comments below. Hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok. I love you guys. See you next time.